we're leveling up every season. You know, we're meant to grow in our lives. And if we're not removing the things that are stopping us, we're not going to get to that next level. I realized that life is a mirror. The relationship that you get is a reflection of who you are. So if you continue to keep landing the wrong relationships, it's because you're not internally healing. You're internally manifesting those relationships, and you continue to keep repeating the patterns because you haven't done the work inside yourself.
So super excited, man. Always great to have guests back. That was always the goal with the podcast. And as promised, I have brought back another dear guest, Tim Bohner, the creator of Stronghold Father. Welcome back, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I got to ask you, but you can take your time if you want to respond. It might be a loaded question. How are you really?
Man, right now, I have left my job at Amazon. And I pulled the trigger, just felt like I was ready to move on. I felt like I was going to cycle. And it was time for me to just take a leap. And now I'm in the void. I had a coach just recently that had been helping me with my trauma, helping me with my shadows, helping me just become a better individual so I can manifest the life that I want, the vision that I had in my head. And he's been helping me for a while. So, yeah, man, it's been good, though. He has definitely helped me seeing the shadows, has seen me, help me heal my issues so that I can be a better man.
Can you talk more about that? What do you mean? When you say talk about your trauma and is there something specific that comes to mind?
So it's just the reason why I have struggled manifesting what's been in my mind, like the vision that I've had for years. Just I see the wealth, I see the abundance, I see just in my mind the purpose. And the reason why I've struggled so much has been because of myself, my energy, my frequency. And that has been preventing me from actually achieving that result that I want. So with that being said, I'm pretty much working through the trauma, working through the shadows, working through my insecurities, my limiting beliefs, my anxiousness, all of that.
You know, when obviously I keep up. Sometimes I don't do as good of a job of interacting, but I do see you talk a lot about motivation and talk a lot about what you're saying now, right? Like, I think that if you correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that like the focus of Stronghold Father and all of what you're working on now is heavily focused on that specific thing, right? Like the facing your inner demons, struggle like to address what's really going on inside, which like it's really a difficult thing. It's easier said than done. Like I'm still doing it. I mean, that's what this whole show's about is exactly that, which is like what happens when you address those inner thoughts that people keep quiet, right? Because the worst thing I think you could do is bottle it, and unfortunately I don't think we're very welcoming as a society of open. Like when I asked you, right, like how are you doing, that's why I asked you how are you doing really, because that I don't know, I don't think we do. I think it's just like an automated response to say I'm good. Like,
right.
I don't know that that's healthy to have to say that over and over again, because then you're telling yourself subconsciously I can't say it. And yeah, man, so correct me if I'm wrong, is that what the focus is for you?
Yeah, it's honestly my whole mission and my purpose in my life is to help people who have gone through the fire, who have gone through trauma, to help them realize that if they don't fix it, they don't go back in time and rewire it, it's going to impact their family home, it's going to impact their relationships, it's going to impact their life. So they have to deal with the shadows, deal with the hurt, so they can be a better example for their kids and their family for generations.
Dude, like, and also too, can I ask you about, because this is my experience, right? Because you do, it's cool that you're doing it, because you have to lead by example. So like if you're going to do that and say I'm gonna, hey, I run a channel that confronts these demons, and like you have to be willing to do it yourself, because you can't tell people that it's this is how you're going to do it, and then you've never done it before. So if you haven't walked the path, how could you lead it, right? And so I think that what's happened for me is that it's forced me. It's kind of like accountability for myself, where I said I was going to do something, and in order for me to be able to say, hey, this is a better path, or maybe this is a path that isn't as damaging or as unhealthy as the one that maybe you're taking now. And I can't say that though until I've walked it and said, no, this is a better outcome for me. And so if it works in my own backyard, then in theory, right, then I could say, well, let's see if it works in yours. And so that's been my experience, is like when going through this, I've had the opportunity to really figure out if this is going to work. And what has it been like for you doing this?
So, like, do you mean doing in my own like journey, or what do you mean by?
What are you finding about when you're doing this, right? Like, what challenges does this bring up? Because obviously, if you're going to ask, or if you're going to say, well, I'm going to confront my demons and I'm going to do it, right? Because you do a lot of like the exercise, a lot of which is
Meditation,
which is big for mental health. So when you are doing those things, right? What do you find? Where is the challenge point for you? What is it teaching you?
So what I'm realizing in my own journey is that I am stopping myself because of the limiting beliefs of just not feeling good enough or worthy enough. And when I said about going back and facing your trauma, there's been like the boot camp was the incident where there's multiple instances in my life, but boot camp was another incident where I gave it all that I got, and I got hurt still. Mm-hmm. So that showed me that it just put it like a blockage there, where whenever I go after something, I stop right before I follow through. I don't follow through because of it, because of the incident in boot camp where I gave it all that I had, but I wasn't good enough to complete it. So now whenever I face other situations in my life right now, like achieving this business, I get everything that I got, but then I stop because I don't think I'm good enough. Or I don't follow through.
I understand what you're saying. By the way, first of all, like, and it's subconscious, unfortunately. Sometimes it's almost like a program in your head that you go, I must have not been good enough. But that's not true, right? You said it yourself. You got hurt, like in boot camp. That was a thing for me that I knew I could never control, and a fear, right? Because that's something that I can't do anything about if I get hurt, right? Like you get dropped or whatever. Like, I think that I said this to you. If you guys haven't watched it, by the way, the crowd watching, go watch the first conversation, because we dug into that pretty deeply, the conversation about boot camp and what that experience was like. And so if you guys want to know more about it, check that episode out. But I think what happens is a lot of the guys that I saw get dropped were people who were, in my opinion, more worthy to pick up that title to become a Marine than some of the guys that made it. And it just so happened that they got hurt. Like, that's what it is. And so, man, yeah, I hope that that's something that one day you can say with confidence, right? Like that, to remove that programming, man, because that programming is like you said, limiting the programming of I wasn't good enough. And I don't think that's true, right? Because like I said, I've seen it firsthand. Plenty of guys that went through this exact, well, not the exact injury, but got injured, got dropped, sent home. And they, in my opinion, they deserved it more than other guys. So, yeah, man, I hope that you're able to confidently say, yeah, I was worthy. I just got hurt.
Yeah. And that's what I had to do. I had to go back into that moment and just rewrite that story and then rewrite that limiting belief, knowing that I could have easily made it. I should have made it, and just let it go and move forward.
Yeah, man. But that's so, and I'm sure like it's one of those things where sometimes it's easier than other days. Like for me, there are a lot of things about my childhood that I think of and can go, well, I feel fine about it today, but then something will happen that will I don't know, maybe take me back to that memory and then like kind of reignite the pain. And so really the best thing I think for me has been to just to allow myself as much as possible. My therapist like yells at me for this because I'm very quick to like, yeah, like as soon as I start to feel like any level of sadness about something, I want to immediately just like, I'm fine, it's not a big deal. And that's the problem. So it's one of the things that it's so difficult to do is once you'll say it like that's what I want to do. I want to be able to tell this story and change the narrative that I'm telling myself in my head that I'm not good enough, and that's why it happened, like or I deserved it, right? And that's something that I'm still having a hard time with,
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, it's hard because that old version of yourself wants to come back and tell you like, hey, remember you messed up back then, or remember that pain back then. That's where you have to remind yourself or bring that awareness to yourself that that's no longer you anymore.
Dude, that is such a great way to put it. That's not you anymore. That's obviously there's always going to be, and this is something that I found too. I don't know if this is something that in your healing journey you've investigated, but for me, that inner kid is still there somewhere. And so like as an adult, as a healed version of yourself, like there's this like therapy to being able to see that younger version of yourself when he comes up, which is like in sadness and moments of like, oh, I failed and I'm not worthy or whatever the narrative is. And for you, the one that's healing, right? Because you're a dad now too. And so I'm sure that this is something that you're able to, or I'm sure comes up for you in some way where you're able, like you can see that kid version of yourself, maybe within your own children, and to be able to say like, yeah, no, this is like, you're okay. Like you're not worthless. You're not worthy of abandonment or of you're not a failure, right? To be able, that older version of yourself, to parent that younger version of you when he comes up, right?
Yep. Like God intended us to be joyful and happy and fearless, and you can see I can see it through my son. And that's a blessing because I'm like, this is how it should have been. This is how my childhood should have been. And I'm very grateful for that. And sometimes I cry because like, I'm just like, I wish I would have had that, but I get to see that through my son. And that's how it should have been from the very beginning. So it's beautiful to see.
Dude, like it's something that I hope that one day I get to do to really rewrite, because the script in some ways can get rewritten when you raise your own kids. For example, like this is something that we've talked about in the previous episode, but I'll dive into a little bit with your backstory in Guatemala and the the rough upbringing, the rough childhood really that you had, because you were essentially sent away from your mom, and your dad was also alcoholic, correct?
Yep.
And so when you don't really have parents to rely on, you learn that like I'm in it by myself, and that's something that for me has come up a lot. And so if you haven't, for people who haven't watched that, we dove into that and then into addiction. And so like you kind of get to rewrite that script, right? Because you didn't really have your dad per se as like a role model, and so then you now as a dad get to rewrite that script in some way. Is that what it feels like for you?
Yeah, and that's what my mission is. That's what my purpose is. Break the curses, break the generational curses, and become the best man and father for my kids. To rewrite the story.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And so let me ask you then, if you don't mind, how is your family doing?
Like my family doing really good. They're getting bigger. My son is very active, always wanted to play. My daughter's into different kinds of sports, just really getting into who she is. So it's been good to see. My wife's doing amazing, working her job and doing what she loves as well.
And so like you said that your daughter is how old is she?
She's now 10, 11. 10.
Okay. So then maybe in a couple of years I'll check in with you about this one, but I always hear rumors of that the child or the teenage years are some of the most difficult to the parent. So I'll have to ask you more in a couple of years how that goes. But as kids, what do you think the biggest challenge has been for you as a father for them?
My time with them, the presence, to actually be present with them, and rather than thinking about everything else that you have on your plate, just really being intentional with them. That's kind of hard because, I have my purpose, my things that I'm working towards, but that sometimes I lose sight of being in the moment with them. That's been the biggest struggle.
And what do you think, like, if you could, and like, just take a moment, maybe you don't know the answer, that's okay, but what do you think is a solution for something like that? What do you think would be helpful?
To set boundaries and have more structure in your day, making sure that what you're doing, you focus on just doing that. So if you're working, focus on give it your attention to that. If you're at home, give your attention fully to that.
Yeah,
Be more intentional.
that's a I don't know that I've heard many parents talk about boundaries with their kids, but or boundaries in general around their kids, right? Because at least for me growing up, like, it felt like everything was just getting juggled. Like, it was like, this is happening here, you go over here, you go over there, and it was almost like a what's the word? Going through the motions. That's the word I was looking for. And so there was a lot of absence in that sense for me. Like, I didn't really get to spend time with really any parent. And so then that kind of creates that feeling for me anyway of like, I'm on my own. I don't have anyone support me. And that's where that narrative is born. And so the boundaries, I haven't heard many parents talk about, where it's like, I make sure that, or the goal is for me to set a boundary around when I'm with my kids. I'm with my kids. I don't work doesn't happen like that. That's set time to spend with them. That's a huge deal.
Yeah.
So let me just ask you then, what is it that, well, new year, right? How did your year go overall? Like you mentioned recently with the Amazon thing, but what do you think were some of the biggest lessons in 2025 for you?
Letting go of my control.
What do you mean by that?
There's certain things that we expect to happen in our lives that we want it a certain way. So we will keep trying to take control of it, trying to just make things happen the way that we see it. But once you let go, that's where God, the universe, will allow things to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it was just the control of making this coaching business or whatever, the social media stuff work the way that I wanted. And finally, it was like, okay, I have to let this go. It's not working. It's not reaping what I see. So I was just like, I surrendered. I finally surrendered and allowed God to just help me let go of it. And it's still a process because I still want to take control of it and have things go my way. But if you loosen the grip, then you're going to be able to let more opportunities come in. And that's been probably the biggest lesson for me, other than just being content in any situation that you're in, whether you're working a job you don't like or whether you're doing what you enjoy, just being content.
Yeah. That's difficult, man, because like when you don't have control growing up, as I know that you didn't when you were a kid, right? Like all the stuff that happened that was out of your control. You kind of grow up and want to take that control back, but there is a reality in that for me too, that like I mentioned to you before the show with the house. For me, all the stuff that happened, I just couldn't ever have been able to control that. I don't have control over other people or what they do or how they treat me or whatever. So, that sense of I don't have any control over this can be a very scary feeling, but a relieving one when you accept it. What is that? What was that experience like for you when you came across it?
Like, you mean like give me an example.
What did it bring up for you? Because there's feelings involved when something is like difficult. It's difficult because it brings something up in you. What was it that it brought up in you?
Yeah, it was just not having control all of my life. Like ever since I was in Guatemala, I didn't have control of the situations that happened there. I didn't have control of me coming to the US. I didn't have control of me getting hurt at boot camp. I did have control of me landing in jail, but there's just been so many instances in my life where I didn't have control of. And now that I'm older in my college years and even to adult life, I've wanted to hold control as much as I could. And that's what's actually prevent me from moving to the next level, is still holding on to that control.
Yeah.
Never had it.
For me, like, for example, like, when I think about what that stuff brings up for me, like lack of control, there's a like deep rooted sadness, of like, I no matter what I do, like bad things happen to me, and there's like a sadness involved in that of why can't I have why can't I get things that I want, and as a kid, that's just not having had my needs met. So for me, emotionally, what it brought up was a lot of sadness, and that's the hard part, and that's why I built in those tactics to suppress feelings, because sadness is a really difficult thing for me to feel, and I don't know. I would imagine that seems to be the case for a lot of people.
For me, it was just anger around it, because that's how, whenever I lose control, that's where that triggers me to become angry, because that's the first emotion that I knew how to have.
You know, and this is something that it was really difficult, by the way. I'll just share this with you. Something in therapy that I was taught, because anger for me was a very common, and for men is typically a very common like response. And it's the safest response, because if I get angry about it, there's some sense of control in that, of like being angry about that thing. And so it's easier. Like, for what I've been taught was that it's actually masked sadness. And I didn't want to accept that for a really long time. I thought that. I was like, no, I don't feel, I just feel angry. But yeah, because that's safer, because there's some level of control in that. Sadness is very vulnerable. And men specifically are brought up that they are that's not welcome. If people see men cry, right, there's going to be a different response than if they see a woman cry, because it's just a difference of upbringing in the society of like, men are supposed to be strong, women are supposed to be more vulnerable, and so that's an acceptance in that. But then when especially if I grew up in a more Hispanic household, so that's what's the word, machismo is common, and so that's something that like, yeah, you got to be strong, you got to have it's your son.
Yes.
Oh, hello, there he is.
But I'm on this phone. Yes. Good. Well, tell mama.
But you know, man, that's awesome, man. I'm glad that he can say hello. Hey, how are you?
Hi.
But what was that? What was I gonna let you know? Oh yeah, so like the machismo thing, right? That's something that was a very much a cultural thing for me. So like, on top of that, and I was in the Marine Corps, it didn't really help the situation, you know, and that was something that anger was just an easier thing.
Yeah. So I didn't know it was sadness that came through that. That's interesting.
It took me a long time to really, because again, sadness is really difficult for me to experience. So anger is a protective emotion, where it's like it's to mask it, because I can control it. If I'm angry about it, like I can change the narrative of this person is bad, and so I'm upset about them. Where if I just said I was hurt by this thing, that's a lot harder to digest, because there's no control in that. So I did want to ask you, man. So going into this year, right? The hurdles are for you, like you're in between jobs. Is that right?
Right now, not in between jobs. I'm working on getting in alignment on what I'm wanting to do.
Gotcha.
In alignment. So I'm not going back to a job unless it's something I want to do.
I gotcha. And so what do you think you want to do? What is have you like gone through your options? Have you sat down and written stuff down about what you might want to do?
Yeah. So I know with my background with everything that I've been through, I know I can help people with their struggles and the things that they face. So I'm working on. I don't necessarily want to fully coach, but I'm just sharing my message is what I want to do. Is I want to keep sharing my message on social media. I potentially want to get back into personal training and helping people and with their health and fitness. But yeah, just sharing my message to pretty much social media in the world and getting paid through my content, getting paid through sponsorships, brand deals. That's what's in my mind. That's what I see, and that's what I written down before. And I'd also do like consulting if people need just like an hour session with me. That's something I can also provide as well, because like I said, I've coached before in the past. It wasn't my thing. I'm more of just someone that needs to share the message to the person that they can have the information and they can run with it. I don't really go with people on the journey. I just plant that seed.
But hey, man, everybody's here for specific parts, man. That's somebody else's thing, right? Like you, in some ways, I think like this is the kind of like the beauty of really building communities, is that you don't have to do everything. You don't have to be there for every part of it. If your purpose in life is to plant the seed, then that's what you're here for, right? And so, dude, I believe that you'll be able to find that specific thing, that niche that is going to get you off the ground, because like what it really does require, and I see it because I mean I watch you, and I see that discipline, first of all, of doing posts regularly. And I don't know if you have a ritual or something that you meditate on of like, no, this is a requirement daily or weekly or whatever, but there's a discipline there in that. And really for me, I talked to Jake, the producer, a lot about this, is like, it's gonna happen. It like the things are going to, I know it's a knowing of like, this will at some point pick up. It will pick up when it needs to, and when it is most convenient for us and most fruitful for us. That's when this will grow. And so all I have to do is just show up, and I see you doing that.
Yep. Yeah. What I'm realizing is it's really never about the outcome. It's never about the outcome. It's about the process. It's building the individual that can maintain the outcome that they want. So like, it's the process that helps you build the character, is what I say a lot. It is becoming the man that has what he wants in the future.
Right.
So it's always about just pretty much working on yourself and becoming that your highest self, highest version that has the whatever you want in your life. So it's pretty much just comes down to the process builds the character.
I think I don't know if you're a believer in like the law of attraction, and for me, look, we had this conversation a little bit last time about spirituality for me, and for me, right, like I feel like there's that just in the believing, somehow you're able to, I don't know what, there might be some level of control, it seems like, that we have over our story. Like you can make edits almost, like it seems like you can, by believing. So if you subconsciously believe it, whatever it is that your reality is going to be, like even your bad ones, right? Like my reality was very much, before I went to therapy, was very much of bad things happen to me, and people in the end walk out of my life, and that's that was subconsciously my narrative because of what my childhood was. And so when I started healing from it, it's really weird, but like all of a sudden things start to pop up into my life that I subconsciously start believing, like, no, look, I am capable of this. I am worthy of this. And slowly those things just appear. And so like, whether it's a belief in prayer, or like, for example, like you believe in faith, and maybe it's God, maybe it's whatever it is that you refer to as that higher being. But it just seems like there's just some level of, you can ask for things, or you can ask for guidance and things. And in some ways, when you do that, when you're able to let go of that control, it does seem like that happens. There's an edit somewhere.
Right. Yep. It's true, and I've realized that throughout these few years, I've been forcing things that work the way that I want it. And then finally, when I'm just enjoying the process, enjoying what I'm building, who I'm becoming, enjoying the character, me being proud of myself, things are, I'm getting more followers and getting more engagement. And I'm gonna open up more opportunities because I'm just enjoying what I'm doing and I'm having fun as well doing it.
Oh, that's a big one. So like, this is something that I've heard people who have already crossed a similar path of like, I started from nothing and now I have this like big empire, right? And so what I've heard them say a lot is that, you get to the quote unquote to the like the end of the path or to success or whatever it brings, and they realize that like the best part of it was that walk, was like what you discovered about yourself in the journey on your way there, and that like the path of discovering of traveling there, that's the journey, was the part that they enjoyed the most and was the most life-changing for them, rather than having the money, having the success. And so if that's the case, right, then like you said, then the outcome doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, it's the journey. That's what even people who succeed. So success is almost irrelevant in some way. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's the honest truth, because as someone that has the physical part done, it's always about removing the limiting beliefs, removing, just pretty much getting rid of the old identity. So as I worked on my physical health, I had to let go of the doubts, let go of just let go of the things that were still holding me back from having that physical body. Like, I think the whole thing is it's your identity. You have to pretty much destroy the old man so you become that new man. And it becomes just a journey of just removing all these limiting beliefs, because you can't attain the outcome unless you become that new version of yourself. But that old version of you is still holding you back. Yeah, that's where you have to fight that person. You have to continue to keep believing and speaking words of encouragement to yourself, and looking yourself in the mirror and just being proud of who you are and what you're becoming.
About rewriting the narrative, because
exactly.
because when you stop believing the old narrative, that's when the old version of you dies and the new one is reborn. Because that's what happened to me. Like, I'll give you the best example of it. Like, the reason, I guess, like what really pushed this journey for me was the end of a relationship for me. Like, it was a catastrophic end for me, because it kind of played on my childhood trauma of like, I finally felt like I was having a family and then it separated, and that's like the devastation of that, but as an adult. And so for me, there was that sense of like the old me had to stop existing, because that old me, while I appreciate him and while he did what he needed to survive, that version of me cannot continue to exist, because it's limiting me. And that version of me now needs to go, because I'm ready for the next journey. And while I appreciate that version of me that took care of me then, I've reached a point in which I need to outgrow that version. And that's what happened. I feel like in that sense, there's been births, deaths and rebirths of myself many times over. And as I've gone through the healing journey, it's happened like faster and faster. And so I think it's like a necessary thing where in order for the old narrative to go away, the old version of you has to go with them.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We're literally we're leveling up every season. We're meant to grow in our lives. And if we're not removing the things that are stopping us, we're not going to get to that next level. So it's always, you gotta complete the level that you're on first before you move on to the next.
Yeah. And like, I'll ask you this, like, it's an experience that I've had, and maybe it's just me, but I've noticed that sometimes you'll run into the same obstacle over and over again, just in different scenarios.
Yeah.
They might have a different name, it might have a different city name, it might have a different environment, but it'll feel the same in that it's like a similar challenge returns over and over again. And for me, that's what happened in the form of relationships. It's like I keep running into the same partner over and over and over and over. And so it's like, okay, what am I not learning here? Because if something keeps happening, if there's a repetition, there's something here that it's like a level, like you said. And to me, that's what it's felt like a lot of the time is I've run into like the same bump over and over again. I'm like, what is the lesson here? That's what it's felt like for me. Have you experienced anything like that?
Yeah. I mean, with the drinking, like I kept repeating the same pattern, but uh, it had to come down to doing the internal work, like letting go of that addiction, and I realized that life is a mirror. It's mirroring you. So that the relationship that you get, the marriage that you have, it's a reflection of who you are. So if you continue to keep landing the wrong relationships, it's because you're not internally healing yourself.
Yeah.
You're internally manifesting those relationships, and you continue to keep repeating the patterns because you haven't done the work inside yourself.
Yeah, that's and like there really is no path. There's no like one size fits all. And I think that if somebody would have told me that earlier, I wouldn't have tried so hard to try to do it how other people did it. Because I think that like I do believe personally that every individual is unique in that the way that their life pans out and the way that things work for them is going to be entirely different from the next individual who maybe the scenarios are similar. Maybe let's say like the trauma is similar, but the outcome's always going to be different because what works for them, what ends up being like the thing that gets them to where they want to go isn't guaranteed to be the exact same as anybody else. And in my experience, it hasn't been. Like my siblings, I could say they all had the same trauma or a similar trauma to me because we had a similar experience. But then the way that they do things, the way that they handle things is going to be entirely different. And that's why even within family, within the family structure, we're supposed to be like the most identical in the way we were brought up, in the way that we think. And yet the way that their life has panned out has been entirely different from mine, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
So I don't really think, again, I guess the point is, there isn't a one size fits all for anybody's path, and I think that that's one of the things that I learned. I wouldn't say recently, but somewhat recently, in terms of what it is that I was. Oh, so I have to do it my own way. Like I can't look at somebody else and go, yeah, that if I just do that, my life will make sense to me because I'm not them. I'm me, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So let me ask you then. We got about 15 minutes here. So what is it that you want to get done this year? You mentioned you want to get to coaching. You want to do be able to tell your story 80/20 off it, correct?
Yeah. That's the goal. And I know that as long as I'm in alignment with what I'm wanting to do, then it's going to happen. I just have to just get out of my own way and stop forcing things to happen or stop forcing things that aren't working and just let go of that part.
I think having grace for yourself, man, that like, it's all right for you to say, yeah, I don't feel this anymore, or say, I don't know. That's a big one. Is a lot of times it's hard to say, I don't know. And that's okay too. Like, not knowing, I would say, is the first step in knowing. So,
Yeah.
So like if you say I don't know more often, there's more things that you're going to learn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm learning a lot too. Ever since I left Amazon, I realized that I don't like to be just trading content. I like to be in there helping people. I like to be interacting with people, helping them on their journey, because that's where I feel my highest expression is being in there with people and building relationships and helping people in their journey.
So let me ask you this. This one might be a challenging question. And we may run close to our time, but I think it's worth asking. What do you think? Because there's a subconscious, at least for me, there's always that subconscious fear of fully committing to something, because like, what if it doesn't work? Like that's the voice inside of like, in the past this hasn't worked. And so you said the self-limiting thing. Do you think that in some way there's something that's like holding you back to full commitment to like that? I'm just going to do that.
Yeah, so I think what's holding me back would be just let like being my authentic self.
Mm-hmm.
Like I guess I would say just I've had so many people I looked up to and would try to act like them, and at the end that's not who I was, or who I am. In the end, I am who I am. It's just I'm not showing that part to social media. It's just because it's harder, but also just because of fear of rejection. Being my authentic self. And I think that's when you're authentic. When you are your authentic self, that is when you will manifest whatever. You'll bring in more opportunities into your life when you're just yourself and being who you are, rather than pretending you're someone else.
Fear, like the fear of rejection, is such a big. I still struggle with it, man. Like point blank, like I still struggle with that. I'd like to think I'm fairly authentic in what I do, but there are a lot of times where I'm like there are things that I find funny that maybe I shouldn't like. What if people don't think that's funny? And like there's moments that I catch myself specifically having conversations with other people where I'm like, I have that fear of like, oh, what if they don't like me? But the whole idea of it is that those are the self-limiting beliefs of like, yeah, you're not good enough. That's the main, that's the subconscious thought that, and then you will manifest like that reality of like, oh yeah, people don't think I'm funny. And I think the challenge is what happens when you do that, when you fully commit to it and you go, whatever happens, but I'm going to be me 100%,
Yeah. Yep. And, we're not meant to please people, especially if you're trying to be successful in your life. You're not going to be liked by people.
It's another thing too. I saw this on Substack. It was like, it's okay. You're not going to be for some people, and that's okay.
Yep.
That's been my experience, is like, and it's hard for me too, right? Because I want to build a community. And so sometimes, I see people like they look at what we do and maybe they go, they just kind of leave. And so it's like, oh man, that sucks, and that's the always been the root fear of like, oh, what if people don't think that this is a community they want to be a part of? What if it's not going to work out? And so, but the truth is you're not going to be for everybody. Everybody's path is that unique that sometimes it doesn't mean that you're inherently bad or that you're not doing something worth being a part of. It's that their path diverges from yours, and that's okay. We're all here for a specific cause.
Yeah, if you're, like I said, like I've learned this from a mentor too, but before, and he says if you're trying to get to a high level in life, you're not going to be liked. It's actually applauded when you start seeing hate from people, because that's how you know you're on track.
Yeah. Well, when people can openly disagree with you, now we have something to talk about, right? Because that's to be able to balance that, like to have it's okay for people not to like me, because if you only have people who agree with you and nod their head yes all the time, there's something happening there. Like there's either, for me, I would think that there's some level of like filtering going on. So I don't know, maybe comments get deleted, maybe like it's basically saying I don't allow an opposite opinion of mine onto this platform where we're having open conversations about things that are difficult. So that comes in the territory of like, if people can openly disagree with you and you see people openly disagreeing with you and nothing happens to them, there's no like, you don't punish them, you don't do you don't try to block them, unless it's of course harmful or like extreme. But if it's a disagreement with you, then yeah, you're talking about something worth talking about.
Yeah, that's the only way we grow as well. When we're not agreeing with each other, we learn different perspectives. If you're agreeing with someone constantly, then you're never going to learn or grow from someone agreeing with you.
Exactly. So let's take the last 10 minutes. I think it'd be a good thing to let's put it into the universe of what it is that you're going to accomplish this year, that you want to get done. And maybe it's not this year, but it's going to get done. if you could sit for a minute and really think about sit on what it is that you are going to get done, like no matter what.
Man, I just honestly, like, I know, like, I've done enough. I don't have to prove myself to anyone. I don't have to keep proving to myself. Like, I know that I'm enough. I know that I have a lot of discipline in myself, that I know that I'm worthy enough for success and worthy enough for whatever I see in my mind. It's just, I have to just do what I feel I'm called to do, which is to help other people with the same issues that I've dealt with. And that's a big purpose. My purpose is to help men that are struggling with the addiction, the vices, the patterns, and just help them become better men so that they can be better role models for the kids. And I don't know how exactly that looks like, but it's just me just continue to show up on social media, show up around people around me. And I do that around me as well at the gym. You know, I talk to so many people who are struggling at the gym too. So I know through that, if I continue to keep doing that, something will happen. You know, I will be rewarded through that, but not sure exactly how it's going to happen.
And that's okay. That's no. I don't think most of us know how it's going to happen. And when you can say, I don't care how it happens, it's just going to happen. Then you're just opening the opportunities of different paths that you will get you there. So you put it into the universe. So it's in recording. Oh. So this is gonna go out into the ether. And
well, let me ask you a question.
Yeah, go for
it. How about yourself? How about yourself?
Look, man. This is something for me. This has been a knowing. I already know that at some point this is going to be something that is going to be kind of like a fork in the road for people. I think that there's going to be times where people aren't sure what something has happened in their life. I don't know. Maybe they're going through a rough time in their life, and a life. I guess like that. Well, that, like I mentioned, the fork in the road, and there's going to be a point of, okay, I'm done doing the old thing. I'm done doing the same thing all the time, and we'll be able to, we have this community, it's already in existence, but it'll be something that I can do globally. I can go, I don't have to be here. We can go and travel to see people all over the world and let them know that they're not alone, that they're through this community of people who are looking for better versions of themselves, who are done with the old version, who are done with generational traumas, who are done with the old system, are going to come here, and they're going to be able to tell their stories unfiltered, without fear of what my family is going to think, without fear of what it is that maybe I upset somebody in telling my truth, but that they have the courage around the world to tell their story openly. That's what When the Night is about, and I know that we're going to do this globally.
That's awesome, man. That's powerful, man. I feel the passion from you too. So I know that
it's got to be in here, man. Like, I think that's what it is, and that's why I connect with people like yourself, because I can see that, right? Like, you don't let yourself, you aren't going to let yourself, because maybe one day you don't feel good about it. Maybe one day you're tired. Maybe one day you had a rough day, maybe with the kids, maybe with work, but you still promised yourself, right, that growth. And that's what I see. So I think that's why this community is so great, because we have people like you that are going in and day out, no matter whether they want to or they don't, to go get done what they know they're supposed to get done. So super grateful, man, that I get to talk to you, really.
Yeah, man. If you need any help, or if you need anything from me, just let me know how I can help you. And same for you too.
Likewise, man. Like I said, this is going to be a lasting relationship. We're going to revisit this, just so you know, like both with you, with what I said and with what you said.
Yeah.
And so we'll revisit this, and hopefully we could do it more often, these conversations, because it's just that's the mission, is to tell our stories and be not afraid.
And I feel like we both have similar purpose. Like, you're wanting these men that have been through the struggle, who have been hurting as well, to share the stories and have a place to share it, as well as be on the other side is want to do the same thing where I want to help bring that awareness to people that it's their suffering and hurt that it's causing their pain right now. So it's similar line of work.
It's cool. Better. It's better when we do this stuff together, because when there's more of us, there's just more potential. Like there's just more growth there. So, dude, like I said, I'm going to stick around. I'm going to follow you, and my growth will be everybody's on here, their growth as well. So if I grow, you grow. That's the rule. So, I know that we'll have more conversation.
Are you using a community platform at all?
Yeah. So, I use, I'm on Substack. So, Win Nights on Substack. We are obviously Instagram, YouTube, Facebook community, and TikTok. And we've thrown ourselves into the universe,
Yeah. I was thinking about starting a community either on Discord or a school community, because you can do memberships as well.
Dude, absolutely. Do it. You don't know until you try it. So just throw your lure out there and see what you catch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, all right, man. It's about to be that hour that we had talked about. So I don't want to hold you. I really appreciate again that you came back on here, and I know that you will get done what it is that you're going to get done, and we're going to check in anyways.
Heck yeah, man. This will be fun.
We'll talk soon, man. Take care. All right.
All right, brother. All right. Bye.
Later.